Hi, I'm Maria Bailey, and I am the author of Marketing to Moms and the CEO of BSM Media. I'm also the founder of the largest mom influencer network in the world and the oldest and largest marketing mom agency. And I want to do a video today on the mistakes this week that I saw brands make and marketers make. So let's get to it. There's 5 of them. Mistakes I saw marketers make this week when it comes to influencing influencers and influencer marketing. Thought influencers were the best option and they had no strategy behind that decision. So influencers are not the silver bullet when it comes to marketing any kind of product to a consumer. They are a really good marketing tactic when combined with other marketing tactics and when they're integrated with really strong strategy. But unfortunately, for the client that I spoke with this week, there was no strategy behind the decision of needing to work with influencers. Ads were no longer working and they needed to generate leads for their business. Well, the problem with that is that influencer marketing is really top of funnel, maybe middle of funnel, but it's not the bottom of the funnel. It could be the bottom of the funnel, but you have to work extremely strategically when you're doing this. So influencers, top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, and they can lead to leads, but that you have to add a lot of strategy behind it. Mistake number 2 that marketers made this week when it comes to influencers and influencer marketing: not devoting enough money to influencer marketing. This could be said in a different way because I don't want it to be interpreted that if you don't have a large budget that influencers will not work. Just quite the contrary. But what I find is most brands underestimate what it costs to meet their goals. Mainly because they don't set any goals. They just say, okay, I want to get the word out about my product, so I'm going to engage with a whole bunch of influencers. And they don't really set any tangible, measurable goals or KPIs against their influencer spend. And I'll give you an example. This week I had a company come to me and they really wanted to jump into influencer marketing because they wanted to get the word out about their products. They were spending about $5,000 a month on ads, digital ads online, and they weren't really working. So they decided, okay, we want to take that money and spend it on influencers. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. $5,000 on an influencer marketing program is not going to get you a lot of influencers, and it may not get you the right influencers, which is even the most important and the more important thing you should be doing when you engage in influencer marketing. Yeah, you could go to some of these apps or maybe even an agency that's going to blindly give you 20, 30 influencers, and they may have 1,000 followers, but they may not be the right influencer for your product. And that doesn't mean that I want you to go out and spend $50,000 on an influencer that has 2 million followers, because again, it might not be the right influencer for your product. And quite honestly, followers are not what you should be looking at. You should be looking at engagement and the community that they are entrenched in, and make sure that the influencer aligns with your values and can deliver on the strategy and the tactics that you need to reach your goals. It might be leads, it might be sales, it might be affiliate sales, but you've got to make sure that the influencer budget is enough to carry your message where it needs to go. Next, mistakes marketers did this week: selecting influencers based on the number of followers. Okay, let's be honest. Instagram has been around for 10, 15 years now. If somebody has 1 million followers, in all likelihood, they've been collecting those followers for almost a decade. Depending upon their age, they could have collected influencers since they were in high school. And now you want them to sell a pack and play or a stroller to their friends. Well, what is the likelihood that out of those million followers, that all of them are moms, or a great proportion of them are moms, if they've been collecting them since the time they were 15 to the time they were 25? Followers is not the number you should be looking at. You should be looking at engagement. You should be looking at the type of content that they produce. You should be looking at the comments that they get from the followers on other products that they talk about. That's one that I'm going to add to my list, about reading the comments, because the comments tell you a lot. They should be more than 3 words long, and they should have some value to the conversation. They also should be engaging. Okay, next, mistakes that marketers make when it comes to influencer marketing. Ignoring how to leverage influencers. So it's not just about their social following and how they engage on Instagram or TikTok, but influencers that are truly influencers have as much influence offline as they do online. So let me give you an example. This week we worked with a client that had a new product in Costco. And rather than just sending a whole bunch of mom influencers into Costco to sample the product and to post about it, we not only did that, but we went one step further and we asked those moms, hey, if we send you a case of this product, will you take it to the soccer field and give it out to friends? Will you take it to the school and let other moms test and try it to generate some interest? And perhaps they'll go and they'll buy a full-size product at Costco. So a lot of marketers forget that influence is just not on Instagram. In fact, influence used to be a verb, not a job title. And moms in particular, mom influencers, have a lot of influence offline, and there's ways to leverage that influence if you're a smart marketer. And finally, mistakes I saw brands make this week when it came to influencer marketing. Over curating and editing their content. Listen, there is a reason why they have 10% engagement rate on their Instagram, or 5% engagement rate on TikTok, or they have videos that go viral. It's because they know their audience and they study their audience. And if you start curating your brand message around what you want them to communicate, then in all likelihood, it's going to be a red flag to their followers, and it's not going to get the engagement that's going to produce you the results you need. Let the influencer take your brand message and curate it in a way that they know will be engaging and authentic to their audience. It's really important that you enter into your influencer marketing programs with strategy and thought, and you just don't jump in blindly. If you need help doing any of that, feel free to email me, maria@bsmmedia.com, and I'd be more than happy to jump on the phone or exchange emails with you or ideate, because the last thing I want to see is brands waste their money when it comes to influencers.